Hey guys, this is a message from later in the video. I actually missed chapter 509, which I read in the middle of me doing this video. So I kind of rectify it, but I made a mistake by saying that the guys aren't present when Johan is fighting Gun. I didn't realize that Gun actually already whooped their asses, and that's why they're not present. I think they're all gonna get the one-on-one fades here because this chapter kind of started with Eli and then Jake, and then obviously in chapter 510 it was Johan. But yeah, so the video is gonna go as normal, but just ignore that part. Hey guys, what it do? It's your boy Supremacy Head of God. Now listen. Chapter 510 of Lookism was sensational. This chapter begins and where the last chapter ended. Except instead of Johan, Jake, and Eli attacking Gun, it starts with Johan. So I wonder who's gonna be the last person to attack Gun. And it's just Gun versus Johan. 1v1. There's no interferences. Nobody else is hopping into the fight. It's just the two of them. And I think perhaps the strategy here is you weaken him, right? If we all attack him and he manages to win, we're screwed. But if each one fully focuses, not having to avoid anybody else, not have to look out for nobody else, and just fights Gun straight on and damages him enough, and then next person and next person, it's like a gauntlet, right? And it's a smart strategy because each of them individually can damage Gun quite a lot. One person already broke Gun's arm, and in this fight, somehow Gun is still using the arm because he just doesn't give a damn. And we know this about Gun because when he fought Awakened Special Body Daniel, he outlasted that Daniel, right? Daniel had broken his arm, but yet Gun was the one standing. Gun was the one up, and all he had was a broken arm, and he was like, that was good. And he enjoyed that. And it was like, wait a minute. Okay, so that's what I thought anyway. I thought it was okay. Thought it was interesting, right? But the thing is, what Gun showcased there for me was that he seems somewhat like he can't be put down easily. Because same as Gu has a similar ability, right? Both of these guys take mad damage, and they always just seem to get back up. And they're always like, oh yeah, cool, whatever. And they just keep going. I don't know what they're made of. I don't know what kind of special juju they have, bro. But these guys are literally almost invisible. On the other hand, we've seen Johan break, fold, and beat up and knocked out. Gu did that. Gu had him laying on the floor asleep. You know what I'm saying? So we know that he can go down. We know that. We've never seen Gu or Gun go down, not even against each other. They were both standing at the end of the fight. They were both laid down injured, but they was both like awake somehow, some way. And we know neither of them went 100% all out. And yet they were able to put each other down. But nobody else since has ever been able to put them down. And in this chapter, Mr. Chairman Choi is adamant on Gun winning. He's like, Gun would kill all of us for trying to help him and then kill the people that he wants to kill. He is bloodthirsty, and we've seen him. We've seen his past with his clan, but we've seen what he was going around doing, solo dolo, him versus whole dojos by himself, winning every single time. So we know even now we haven't seen Gun go all out because he needs to get bloodthirsty to the maximum. But everybody else on the other side, Manager Kim, etc. See, Manager Kim has this shit messed up a little bit, bro. Manager Kim don't really know these folks that well, bro. I don't think he knows these folks that well. Because Manager Kim thinks Warren is the one that's going to take him down. So he thinks Warren and Johan are the two strongest in the allies, which I think makes sense. I've been telling you that Warren is super OP because he learned from Mr. Manager Kim. I've been telling you that Warren is probably stronger than Eli. But I don't think Warren is going to be the one that's going to do the final blow. I don't think Warren's going to be the one to take him down. I don't think Johan is going to be the one to take it down. It's either going to be Jake or Daniel. I think those are the only two really that should be the ones to take him down. Eli does have deep roots with him, but I think Jake has deeper roots with him because Jake has deeper roots with Chairman Choi than all of these characters that are here to fight right now. So that's what I think is actually the situation. it's which is really intriguing, right? Because this chapter right here in this fight, we see Johan put on a masterclass performance. Like he really goes in, he digs deep in his bag, bro, because he's just been learning every technique from everybody, and he just been stalking it, stalking it, stalking it. He's like an Elden Ring character that isn't like he uses magic, he uses dexterity, he uses strength build, he uses everything in the book, and he's sensational at everything in the book. But the problem, yes, there is a problem. The problem is quite easy. Endurance. And he still has great endurance, but he doesn't have the same endurance as people that get beat up. We saw Daniel, right? Daniel became super and like a high level, had super high level endurance in his shitty body because his shitty body got beat up so much. It built up tolerance and endurance to hits, to getting hit and beat up, so he can tank more hits. Johan has always been so gifted that he doesn't really tank that many hits. We know that Zach tanks hella hits. And so, especially because he went from being a winner to being a complete loser. And he needed that to be able to tank as many hits as he can. But Johan still dominates this fight. Gun kind of comes back a little bit. But first, Gun is shocked and flabbergasted that Johan is so much better when he can see. Right? Because even when he fought Gu, he could barely see. Right? And Gu was also like, if he gets his eyesight, this boy might be dangerous for real. And he's showcasing that danger here. But Chairman Choi is still unwavered. He's like, trust me, this man is a whole different breed. You think he's in trouble, and I promise you, he is not. Right? He is not in trouble. So we're gonna have to see what happens here. But I think obviously, if you read the chapter, you saw how the chapter ended. Johan was going through his memories, thinking about Zach, thinking about everybody and Zoe and them. But I think it's actually quite disappointing because I really wanted Zach to be the one to get Johan back. But it seems like that's not going to be the case unless Zach is involved in defeating Gun here. And he's key to it because that's now Border the Dreams. I really think Zach deserved the arc of being the one to save Johan, either by defeating Johan directly, which I thought would have been the better portrayal, or even stalemating him, just tanking so many hits that Johan is so impressed that he's just like, what am I doing? This is like my best friend. But I wanted a cleaner conclusion to the arc there because it felt like, because Zach only went to get strong to get Johan, but he went and got strong, and Johan just said, I'll be back when I defeat Gun. And he's going off on his own again. So it's kind of like defeats the purpose of Zach's whole journey because his whole journey is to get Johan, but Johan basically got there by himself, which is disappointing. I know Zach gave him the information, but it's still mad disappointing. I wanted to see a fight. That's all I'm saying. I like the fights. I do like the regular parts as well. Of course, I've complained about that sometimes there's too many fights, but that's just what I think. I really think that story was built up for, I think, a conclusion that shouldn't have been showcased in a flashback, a conclusion that should have been its own chapters. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my thoughts on that part. But it's still a very, moving thing we have here because Johan is, for once, is fighting for his friends and for himself and for his own freedom, selfishly almost rather than unselfishly, which was for his mother the whole time. That's why he left with Gun, right, to try to find a way to cure his mom, only to realize that they've had it the whole time, but they just use that to dangle him so that they can control him like a dog. That's why he's God dog. But he goes on a rampage. He awakens. He does the awaken Daniel stuff, and he's cooking Gun. And he does this crazy move, and Gun thinks, oh, I got him. And then Johan dodges and weaves and kicks and punches and elbows and pummels Gun's head through the concrete floor. And Johan thinks, I finally did it. And I think it's an early celebration. But it's weird again, we don't see none of the guys' reactions, right? We don't see any of the guys' reaction to that. And I did make quite a little bit of a mistake here. I said that the guys aren't fighting him. Sorry guys, I actually made a slight mistake because I missed chapter 509 because I was away. I was in Paris with my girl, and it was a good time. But so as a result, I missed the chapter. Basically, I'm gonna explain it at the start of the video. but I'm saying it again here anyway. But I'll continue with my points anyway. Yeah, so I think, even Gunn there fighting, fighting Jake and fighting Eli, and then both of them kind of expressing the same thing as Johan, where they feel like the only way they can move forward is by defeating Gunn. If they defeat Gunn, then the past trauma goes with that. Then they can overcome that fear they had, that willingness to be almost evil for the sake of following Gun, because Gun fooled them into believing that being that way is the only way they can protect what they cherished. Big deal for Jake, hostile for Eli, and of course his mother's eyes for Johan. So this is kind of the beauty here, I think, of it coming full circle in that aspect. I think this part is done really well, where these three characters have this one thing holding them back, and it's Gun. And Gun's defeating, seeing Gun be the one helpless, will free them from the past and the shackles that they had before. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about. I think this chapter was fantastic. Obviously, I think Gun is gonna come back and whoop Johan here, because no chance Gun loses here. But it's great to see it come to this. I think the fight should be over in a few chapters. I'm very excited to see the conclusion. Anyway, it's been your boy Supreme Cheer to God. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out.